So on my live the other day, I had some atheists asking what I think are some really good questions. And unfortunately, the live, there were some issues with me trying to download it and post it, some sort of glitch. So I just wanted to cover some of the things we talked about concerning God, foreknowledge, free will, and some other things. Just for the sake of conversation and time, we're going to have to understand certain attributes of God. Him being eternal, having always existed. Him being omnipotent, having all powerfulness, all strength. Him being omniscient, being all-knowing. God being pure and just and holy and not the author of sin. So to give you my perspective, I believe God is a free moral agent, just as I believe that humanity, like all human beings, are free moral agents. I think a spiritual being is a free moral agent, like intrinsically. But that doesn't mean that God will choose to do something that is wrong, nor does it mean that human beings can, throughout their entire lives, every single decision, choose what is right. The difference is that God is infinite in both his strength and knowledge, and we are finite in our strength and knowledge. So God foreknowing that Adam and Eve would fall into sin is not causative of that. But to me, a world without sin would be a world without spiritual beings with whom God desires a relationship with. He could create a world where there were no living things, a world where there are only animals that don't have, that sentience or self-awareness, what most people call a soul, but I would call a spirit. But we can't just say that God foreknew the fall. He foreknew the fall, foreknew that he was going to sacrifice Christ to redeem those who turn to him, and at the end completely do away with death and illness and sickness and sin and all those things. Preaching from Romans 7 this past week, I may have went a little bit too far in speculating that sin is awful, sin is abhorrent to God, but because sin is in the world, we recognize that we are filthy before a holy and righteous God. We realize we need to depend on God, and we can dwell in our sin or we can turn back to God. From there, the conversation goes different places, like God knew that people were going to choose sin over repentance and turning back to him. People would choose hell over heaven. Are a majority of people going to be saved, or are only a few? And we can ask a lot of questions, but to me, if everyone has an opportunity to turn to God, to become a Christian, or become, at whatever time the true religion is, whether it's monotheism, Judaism, or Christianity today, I'm just not seeing the problems with the system that other people claim to see.